Welcome to Backboard Banter on the board with your hosts, Matt Middleton and Kevin Rayner, where the banter's as ferocious as Tyrese Halliburton and those Indiana Pacers, man. I mean, we both had them in the playoffs, but they have been excellent to start the season, particularly on offense, though.
I mean, 126 points per game. Let's not look at their defense and what they're allowing teams to put up against them. But, Tyrese has this team rolling. The Pacers are off to a very hot start. Everyone in the media is talking about them. Nobody expected this from the. Look, you got to be excited for the most Canadian team, players wise in the NBA. And I'm paying attention to this Patriot squad. I expect them to stick around and be not quite OKC-esque, but Tyrese knows what's up. And if you didn't already know who Tyrese Halliburton was as a regular NBA fan, you do now. He has showed up onto the stage.
Man, I think like that trade, as much as everybody calls it a win-win,
Yeah.
I feel like the Pacers really won that one. Getting a guy like Tyrese Halliburton's quality, I think he's a better player than De'Aaron Fox, and that's saying something because De'Aaron Fox is a heck of a basketball player, man. Um, I think the Pacers really hit a home run with this one, and it's showing. Nobody expected them to be this good last year, and they've been, good 2 years in a row, at least to start the season. Haven't played, a juggernaut of a schedule, but hey, man, beating the teams in front of them, 7-4. What are they? Fifth in the Eastern Conference right now, something like that. Like that's awesome. Good for them, man.
And it's kind of great to see when you consider what trading a superstar does in the current NBA right now. Like, to get what they've gotten out of the Paul George situation from all these years ago. Like, hats off to this front office and this organization. The Pacers, who, I feel like a couple of years ago I joked about how they're just this team in mediocrity who doesn't want to hit rock bottom because they can't really afford to, as, a smaller market team. And here they are, right? Having not hit rock bottom, but still having found their guy, their cornerstone player to work around. And it just goes to show that if you're smart, savvy, and you don't just lean into what every player and organization wants, you might be able to get some extra things and you might find some diamonds in the rough. Because I don't think everyone expected Tyrese Halliburton to be what he was right out of the gate. But you and I definitely knew when this trade happened that he was going to be special.
Well, man, people knew he was going to be good after his rookie season. That people were super shocked that the Kings gave him away for Domantas Sabonis. But hey, man, it's worked out for the Kings. They've been better for it. But like the Pacers have their stud for the next decade, and that's worth way more than kind of getting a little bit of an upswing in team winning play when you don't necessarily have that true upper echelon star. Like I would say Halliburton over Fox. And if you're doing like a top 20, I think Halliburton probably falls in there, and Fox is just on the outside. You know?
Especially right now after the way that they've been playing. And we'll get into it. We'll talk about the Pacers a little bit more when it comes down to it, because they are a top 5 team in the East right now. You do have to respect them. But let's roll back. Let's go to our takes from a couple weeks ago, because I'm sad. The Grizzlies, their season has not been great. It's not been off to the start, and I believed in them. I thought, they're facing the lowly Blazers 2 games in a row. They'll take the first one, and then they can lose the second one. Nah, they flipped that script on me. They lost the first one. They won the second one. I'm sad over here, but hey, hopefully the Grizzlies will get a couple more W's. I don't think that's going to happen considering the amount of injury troubles that the Grizzlies have been going through this season. But yeah, I took an L once again.
Man, 2-9 for this team is not the start that they expected or anybody did. Everybody knew Jaw was going to be out, but man, this has been a brutal start for them. At least they got their first win against the Blazers. You got like
Right.
half of it right. I mean, it's better than me trying to pick over the Nuggets. Dumb play. Luca didn't have it. Nikola Jokic is the king for a reason. Luka's just not as good as him.
You know,
It's baffling,
it,
man.
it, it makes me sad for you because if you did get this take right, Luke could be top of the league. They'd have that extra W over the Nuggets. Like, look, you can't be that upset when you're calling the games against what looks like the two best teams in the West right now, considerably. So I'll hand it to you. You took your boy Luca. You can't be upset about that.
Hey man, yeah, I love my boy Luca, and he's been great this year. But those Denver Nuggets, man, just chugging along. Unlike our Raptors, who they are showing the same thing that they did last year. Starts and fits, man. Like we have good stretches, but then we have horrendous stretches. Considering we went, 3-3 since we last talked, some of those wins were great. Some of those losses were baffling. Which one do you want to start with?
I mean, there's so many different ways to really go about it. Let's talk about the L's, get them out of the way, really, and then we can talk about a little bit of success because I think the L's are more telling than our W's in this week. When you look at the 76ers, the Celtics, the Bucks, the 76ers games, man, the Celtics and Bucks games really slipped away from us. We had a chance to really stable ourselves, get to 500, show that we're willing to do it, and unfortunately, that Scotty shot against the Celtics, man. Like Darko, I gotta say, wrote up a great play. Scotty was open in the corner. He had enough space for that 3-point shot, and it just didn't knock down. And things happen, right? We can't be that upset considering the boys keep coming back from being down. Now, they're down in the first place, which sucks, but at least they're still fighting, right? That's what matters.
Well, yeah, like the 76ers game was a tough fought game. The 76ers just kind of seem to have our number right now. But you're right. Like in both the Bucks game and the Boston game, we were kind of right there. Being that down to the Giannisless Bucks
Yeah,
is inexcusable for me. I know we lost OG Anunoby to house chores, but it is just not not okay. They don't have Giannis, and to let Dame drop 40 on us after they contained him in that first matchup, like,
yeah,
was very, very disappointing for me. And then last night, man, we were in that game until the end of the second quarter where we just decided to give it away. We're down 14 at half, but we storm back. We look so good. And you're right, man. That play, like, he was open. I thought he kind of bobbled it. It didn't quite go perfectly, but if he had gotten the ball like right off the bat, I think that was a bucket. And it's tough, but the three losses are against the three best teams in the Eastern Conference.
yeah,
So it's really hard to say that, those are bad losses. What's really bad though is being down what 21 points and 23 points to the Spurs and the
yeah.
Wizards respectively. Yes, we won those games, but man, what are we doing?
Man,
What are we doing?
the Spurs game has like a special place in my heart. So like my ski club we got together. We had our coaches club meeting, so I wasn't able to watch the game. But shout out to my boy who works at Winsport. He's around the corner running the desk for the room that we're using, and he's got the Raptors game on. He's watching it. So I take some strategic bathroom breaks. I'm not gonna lie, and not getting to watch the whole game versus Wemby was sad, but man, I wish I had have gotten to sit down and watch that whole run back. The way that Scotty took over against the Spurs at the end of the game. Like, there's been some great moments here and there for these boys in these games, and you still can't excuse the fact that we were down the amount that we've been. Like, they're either taking their foot off the gas, the classic Raptors, half court curse comes in. Like, we still can't shake our demons.
Bro, like it seems like don't we don't engage during certain stretches of the game. Like we just kind of disengage. We think that it'll just happen for us. We over dribble, we overpass, we overthink, and it feels like we just have no control. And then all of a sudden, like we just start making the simple play. We take our open shots. We play within the rhythm of the game, and we look like one of the better teams in the NBA, man. And so it's frustrating to be 5-7, especially with those losses
Yeah.
to teams like who'd we lose to? We lost to Portland and to the Bulls.
Yeah.
Like we could easily be 7-5 and even 9-3 3. I really truly believe that because I think that we should have gotten a split with Boston and with Philadelphia. I think that we're good enough to get that split. It's frustrating. It's still early though. There's growing pains, and like the one thing that you gotta admit is that like Darko knows how to come back from a deficit. Man, he knows how to go into that locker room and get that team ready for the second half. I don't know how he can't get them to kind of start games and to play in the second quarter, but hey, man, third quarter, fourth quarter, he's got them locked in. So yeah, just gotta work on 2 more quarters.
I don't know if
That
the I don't know if,
50%.
I don't know if the players are just chilling too much. Their vibes are too good, but yeah, when you see the way that Darko can control the locker room, the way that I'm sure you've seen the giant award that he gives out at the end of
Yeah,
every
the
game.
chain.
That's pretty great. We're rocking Dominic Toretto vibes over here. We're winning for family. My heart pretty happy with the amount of times I make that joke over here, but it's got to be the positivity, right? We got to look at what Darko is capable of doing and what we've seen out of this team and build for the future. I talked about it coming into this season, assists, and turnovers. That was going to be a big deal for us working as a team. And we're number 2 in the league when it comes to the percentage of shots. 66% of our shots that go down are assists. Unthinkable numbers to the Raptors of old that we've seen in the past few years, right? Like, now, 22nd in
Not a
turnover
bad offense.
ratio. That's not great, right? Our offense is trash at times. We can't put a bucket up, but we're at least working together, right? I've seen a lot of fans.
We're
I've
working
seen
together to be bad.
this is the thing. I've seen a lot of fans rip on it where they're like, they're just passing the ball out and shoot and trying to take shots and running to the basket and not achieving anything. And we do 20 seconds of nothing. And I'm like, yeah, but when that actually works, when our offense is flowing, we find the open lanes, and then our shooters are knocking down shots. We crush the Bucks like we did earlier in the season. So it hurts that we have such pendulum swings in the way that the boys are playing, but the positivity is that it's development, right? We are a developing team, and we're gonna have those hurdles. We're gonna have those problems. It needs to happen faster for us. That's what we want. It just needs to happen faster.
Yeah, I think that we're getting a little impatient.
Yeah.
And also like, man, can we have any better luck with the injury bug? And especially OG, man, this guy, some guys it just seems to follow them around. Like it
House
really does.
chores.
There are
Yeah.
some guys who just seem to be more injury prone, and some guys who are just, lucky and never get hurt. OG is definitely the latter, or
Yeah.
the former, not the latter.
Hmm.
He is somebody who every season it seems is gonna miss 20 to 40 games. And it's just frustrating, man, because he is such an integral part of our team. I really think he is the key cog for us winning games. The three of them together, of OG, Siakam, and Scotty, is one of the most, I think, unstoppable threes in the NBA. But OG is what makes them complete. Because I think he's a little bit more willing to take a backseat on the offensive end and to do more work on the defensive end
Yep.
and not have to make the flashy play. I think Scotty likes to make the flashy play on the defensive end. He made a couple of them last night. And Siakam likes to be that go-to offensive hub. And so that like kind of builds this massive monster between the three of them, but OG is very, very, very clutch in that. And so like it sucks that he's hurt, but we gotta lose him to house chores, man. Like we didn't even lose him in practice. Like
Bro,
what are we doing here?
you got me so good with that house tours at the beginning of this. I wish the NBA could like actually list that as anyone who's played NBA 2K, you see the random, Twitter posts of like, player is out because his girlfriend broke up with him, things like it'd be funnier if the NBA would actually post things like house chores. Cause yeah, OG, what are you doing, man? Come on, we gotta wrap this man in bubble wrap when he's not on the court, just to take care of him. Like,
Bro, he's so rich. Like I know that good for him doing his own housework, but like pay somebody to
come
do
on.
it, man. You're too important to our team. He's doing workouts left-handed right now. Like, come on. Oh,
Okay,
he's man, he's easily the second most important player on our team.
For sure. I mean, Scotty's the future, but OG is the reason why we have a defensive presence at all, right? I mean, we're eighth in defense in the league, right? Which is the, I mean, come on. Obviously,
We
Scotty
should
has
be.
been as good. No, we are eighth. Like, that's where we are, but we should
Yeah,
be.
but we should be even higher
Well, if OG and Scotty were around 100% of the time,
all the
we're
time.
we're a
Yeah,
top
yeah.
five defense, and we know that about ourselves, right? The fact that we're a top 10 defense when we're just like throwing in, you know, Malachi Flynn here and there to try to be a defender for us, like we do
And
all right.
Grady Dick, both of them getting minutes, and
You
we still have a
know,
top 10 defense.
I love
If
Grady
Grady
Dick's
can't
shot.
can't
I love his
yeah, but if he
release.
can't hit, yeah.
This is the thing, right? His shot looks so good, but sometimes things don't knock down. And of course, he's a rookie. Give him time. Give him time, right? We can rip on Gary Trent for his
Yeah.
shooting, which we're not gonna do today because man put out a
He
good
actually played well
performance.
last night.
He did great
Yeah.
for us. He
I was
knocked down some
so happy
shots.
for
Yeah,
him yesterday.
he needs that game to come back, right? And have some
When
good
he hit that
vibes.
early three, I was, oh,
Dude,
Gary,
this is
that's
like
you, man. That's you.
this is like the championship run, game 4, game 5, game 6, whatever it was, when Marcus All hit that three in like the first
How
4 minutes of the
low,
game, and I'm like, we need this, yes. Like,
bro, how low have we fallen since the championship season that you're comparing game 12 to game 4, 5, and 6 of a playoff run? Get out of here.
yo, we live in a different world,
Oh, man.
man. Different world now for
Oh,
sure. But look, there's been positivities. We've seen that Darko is letting the team run. He's letting everybody have an opportunity. We're praying for Koloko's injury. We're hoping that his chest. What I forget exactly what it was. Whether it's his chest injury, it's a respiratory thing. You know, we'd love some backup Koloko because Pirtle, as great as Pirtle has been field goal percentage wise, because he's always top three in percentage, he just disappears in some games. Defensively, he has not looked up to par this year, and so I'd love me a little Koloko to return. We saw what, one game of Otto Porter. Yeah, you mentioned the injuries earlier. We just need everyone to be happy and healthy to play.
yeah. And like just like a little bit, I would love some Coloco because I would just like to see some athleticism at the center position. Like I love Yak and like definitely is fundamentally sound,
Yep.
but you're right, he's disappearing in these games just because he's getting overmatched and he's not athletic enough to keep up with these guys. So I think having a guy like Christian, back him up would be really nice for our team. Yeah, it would be nice to see the rest of the players like get in there, but again, man, like Otto Porter, I can't hold my breath for
No,
him. He's like like an OG version on steroids, man. That guy gets hurt just getting out of bed in the morning. So, like, what are
it's
we doing?
true. It's true. It's true, honestly. And Precious is such a coin flip these days with what his capabilities and what his production is going to actually be on the court. So it really comes down to, is Malachi Flynn? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It comes down to if Schroeder can get these guys together, right? Because he is the veteran at this point. We've seen that he's going to be the starting point guard for this
He's been
squad.
great.
He's been fantastic, right? Anyone who picked him up in fantasy is like, whoa, this guy, he's been amazing for people. But yeah, Schroeder has been, the Kyle Lowry that we needed for this team, right? We talk about the inconsistency of this squad, right? And when it comes down to it, the only consistency that the Raptors have really had in the last few years is Kawhi Leonard buckets, Kyle Lowry's booty, and DeMar doing DeMar things, right? Like that's what we've experienced since the Chris Bosh era. And so like we need more consistency, and that just hasn't really existed at this point. Hopefully Scotty can be that. Hopefully Siakam can be that. Hopefully OG is, rapping bubble wrap and can be that as well.
Don't talk about Siakam being that because man, like you said, Kawhi buckets, Kyle Booty, and Demar hitting middies. Like that leaves a 4 year stretch where we haven't had any of those.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think that the hope and the constant's going to be Scotty Barnes, double doubles and triple doubles because I think he's got that in him. He's a menace defensively. Him and OG have been fantastic together. So yeah, Scotty defense and some buckets would be a nice new consistency to the Raptors era. And with when it comes to Siakam, man, I'm gonna throw it back to what I've been saying for years. We gotta trade the man. We just have to. I I think he's a fantastic player. He's definitely one of the top 5 players in Raptors franchise history. Can't argue that. And if you do, you don't know Raptors franchise history. We need him to turn into a guard. We need
And
him to turn into an elite level guard, or
yeah,
at
yeah.
least a mid to high level guard.
And I think that,
No?
and I agree. And I think that with the front office not extending him as much as, Siakam has come out and said that he wants to stay a Raptor, he wants to be extended. I think that this has showed that the front office is aware of that and that they're letting things run and seeing what can actually happen. Because obviously, if OG, Siakam, and Scotty can be healthy and can all be 35+% 3-point knockdown shooters on 4+ a game, cool, we don't need things, but that's just not the reality that we live in. That's just not going to happen consistently wise. I will say Scotty's jumper has looked better this season. He's been knocking down threes, he's been confident, and we love to see it. But we need more right now. And if we're not going to have it right now, then the right now player in Siakam has to be transformed, transferred, becoming something better. And as we've said,
Traded into something
we
else.
need Desmond Bain-esque. We need a guard. We need somebody who can actually shoot some threes because we were hoping that Gary could do it, and it's not happening. And we know that Grady needs some more time before he's NBA ready to play the type of ball that we want to see. So a lot of questions still for this Raptors team, but I'm still happy. Like, I'm not upset about the season that we've seen so far. There's been some great basketball. There's been some great moments. We don't love falling behind the way that we've had, but hey, some great comeback wins and some big moments for the boys. At the end of the day, in just a vacuum, just looking at the W, not the rest of the game, just the W. Feels good, man.
And man, like I like to break up the season into like 5 little game stints. And the first 5 games we were 2-3. The next 5 games we were 3-2. We've started this 5 game stretch 0-2. But we do have the opportunity, to beat the Pacers, the Cavs, and the Magic, and the Pistons, and like get on a roll here and start to really build it up for ourselves. So like we'll see, and it's still early. There's 70 games to
Yeah,
go. So hey, we go on a 10 game winning streak. This is all behind us, and we're laughing. And I still think that we should trade Siakam. Even if, man, we go on a 20 game win streak, I still think we need to trade Siakam. I'm that guy.
of course. Hey, you gotta sell high, buy low. Sell high, buy low. But we've got very winnable games coming up. This game on Tuesday against the Magic, game 2 in the in-season tourney. I swear, boys, you better get this W. We need it. Going 0-2 in the in-season tournament is pretty much a recipe for you're out, not happening, unless you win the next 2 games and then you get lucky with the wild card. I don't see it, man. I don't see it. So, important game coming up against arguably
Amen.
a pretty good team in the Magic. They've been playing decent right now.
No, man, the Magic 7-5. Paolo Banchero looking real nice this year. He looked great as a rookie, but even better as a second-year player. Um, Jalen Suggs not very good though. Jalen Suggs is not very good.
Cha-ching! That's a W for us
He
right there.
tries really hard. I'll give it to him though. He does try really hard. He really wants to be great. He just like
Dude,
doesn't have it,
Jalen's
unfortunately.
Jalen
It's
Suggs is one of those kids in school who consistently gets B pluses, but spends like 4 hours a night outside of class working and trying to be better than he is. And Scotty Barnes is that kid that gets an A- for just showing up in class. So here we are.
thank God we made that pick that way.
Yo, I knew,
And like
man.
again, we have very winnable games. Like besides the Pistons, besides the Magic, and like the Pacers game looks hard. That's going to be the hard one.
Yeah.
But like there's 12 games between now and December 20th when we play the Denver Nuggets. Those are like besides I think it's the Suns, the Cavs, and the Pacers. Those are the 3 teams that like clearly like we would have trouble with.
Yep.
Like that it's a coin flip of a game. Maybe you could lean towards the other side. All the other games, it's like Washington, Charlotte. Like we should be beating these teams, and we need to beat these teams in order to get to where we want to get to. And I know the Knicks are ahead of us right now in the standings. We're better than the Knicks. We will beat the Knicks because the Knicks are in that 12 game stretch, I think, twice.
Man, I
So
can't believe the
we
Knicks have
will.
the
I
I
guarantee
I
it.
can't believe the Knicks have the record that they do with how poorly Julius Randle has been playing. Go back
Bro,
50
who have they
episodes in
beaten?
this. They have me not that many people, but you go back 50 episodes in this podcast to the days of let's sell Julius Randle because he's on top of this world, top 5 MVP. Like exactly right.
No,
You know, man. But yeah, it's been a really
bro.
interesting season to say the least. There's a few teams that are trying and a few teams that are not succeeding.
Bro, they beat the Cavs. That's the one good team that they've beaten. They've beaten the Wizards. They've beaten the Hawks. They've beaten Charlotte, Spurs, the Clippers, who we both know are garbage, and
Oh,
then the
we'll get
Hawks
to
again.
them. Yeah, we'll get to the Clippers.
Bro,
This
you
is.
want to just jump right into the Clippers?
I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy with Raptors chat. We can talk about
I'm
the
good
next
to talk about the
situation. Yo,
Clippers.
let's talk about the
About I
Clippers, man.
am the system airball.
Hey, whoa! The guy got a game winner last
Wiping
night. All
off
right.
your shoes and hitting an air ball after wiping off your shoes has got to be prime James Harden.
Look,
That's gotta
the Clippers lost what 5 straight after they got
six.
Harden. 6 straight. They finally got a win last night. James Harden game winner. Congratulations.
Bro, bro. Like James has been saying, he's got to get himself into game shape. He didn't have a training camp.
You're right.
He just got traded to this team last minute.
You're right.
Bro, this isn't on him. He didn't ask to be traded. He did not show up for training camp. That wasn't him. Oh, wait.
It's
Sex
insane.
note? It was him.
It's actually insane the Harden situation right now. The whole Westbrook going to Ty Lue asking to come off the bench, like 50% Westbrook doing that, 50% Harden being like, "Yo, get out of my starting lineup." Like I don't really know what the Clippers are doing right now, but it's laughable at best, right? Like if I'm any young player on that Clippers squad, if I'm a Vicha Zubac, I'm like, can I go somewhere else, please? Like this is not a fun situation right now. Ty Lue
No.
is struggling. He's doing anything he can to try to get this squad together.
And if Ty Lue is struggling, man, what other coach in the NBA could deal with this situation? You got four guys who have all been like, MVP type caliber players.
Yep,
I think, all but Paul George is one. Paul George has finished in the top three before, though.
yep,
And the thing is none of them are even close to their peak powers anymore. Paul George is the closest one to his peak powers. Kawhi Leonard is maybe 75% of what he was at his peak.
yeah,
Russell Westbrook being, 70% and Harden being 70% as well. Like you guys this was an all-star team, yeah, back in 2014, 2015. Okay, you guys would easily win the championship. It's 2023, man. Like the
yeah.
ship has sailed on this team. I don't care about them. I feel bad for them, not really, because they're the Clippers and they stole Kawhi from us. Like, there's an alternate reality where we're defending our fifth straight championship, but whatever. That's just an alternate reality. And Kawhi never gets hurt. But,
Never.
again, I'm living in fantasy land.
It's,
Like,
it's a beautiful world in Fantasyland. But this is the thing, man. This is what happens when you sell your soul for aging veterans. And honestly, for them to if this is like the final veteran that they buy with James Harden, it'll just be so ironic in the end for the type of player that they're getting, and like they're gonna pay him. They're gonna give James Harden some money, which is crazy because
bro,
they can
they
do it.
chose to get him.
Yeah.
They chose to go after him. Like,
Uh,
they chose that.
so
They didn't have to have him on their team. They could have left him with the 76ers.
okay, okay.
Man, it's baffling. It's
We can
baffling.
beat this horse. We can beat this horse for days, but let's move elsewhere into the league. What else you want to talk about? Where else you want to go? You want to talk about some streaks, some injuries? What's on your mind?
Oh man, just that I don't really want to talk about it too much, but like the Kelly Oubre thing, like I hope that guy's okay. Tyrese Maxey dropping 50 for him. Wild to think that this man just got like run over by a reckless driver. The prettiest man in the NBA getting hurt. Hate to see it, man.
I
Hate
mean,
to see it.
the thing that it does show is the realities of the world, right? Like we take these sports leagues, we put them up on pedestals, right? We take these players and we give them a certain amount of status, and when things like these happens, it reminds us that These guys are just everyday people who, some of which take the subway to work, some of which, are just driving down the street, get into the stadium, just like, any regular fan. They just get to go in a different door and get to play the game instead of watch it, right? And so, as much as it is a tragic situation, it does kind of, you know, level the game a little bit and bring everything down to earth.
Yeah, it's just sad to see, man. But yeah, just outside of that, I mean, like there's some Zach Levine trade rumors. We'll see. I think he's a great fit for our Raptors. But I wouldn't really want to trade Siakam for him. Like that's not a straight up trade that I want to make.
Plus, that's
So
not
like
one
I
I
don't.
think that they're looking for. They definitely are going to look for young assets because if they're selling Levine, they're blowing up.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're gonna trade DeMar. Like they gotta blow that thing up. Speaking about blowing up, I mean Draymond got suspended for 5 games. You think Golden State's gonna blow that thing up now?
Yo, they've been playing like okay. Look, 5 losses in a row. Yes. Draymond Green suspension, which I'll get to. Yes. Chris Paul's looked great for this team. They've looked relatively
Yeah.
good. Okay. The biggest struggle is Andrew Wiggins not existing anymore for this squad. Okay. Golden State is in a weird situation, but Draymond, my guy, you can't just be flying out here like this is WWE, okay? This ain't mankind coming off, Hell in a Cell. Like, we are not in, like, chaos. Like, he just came out of there with the arm and just
Or you can't use the
absolutely
chair.
got him. You can't use it. Like, the best part is how Rudy Gobert is just like, I'm not doing anything. I'm fine, but I'm not doing anything. Please, like, refs, I swear. Like, that had me chuckling. Oh man, it
Oh
had me so
man.
good. It had me so good.
Draymond is just a nutbag, man. I mean, it's 100% his character to do something like this. Um, yeah, I think 5 games was appropriate
Very
for,
reasonable.
trying to choke somebody out in the NBA, and especially with the history that he has. I think it's very, very appropriate. Yeah, I mean, maybe Golden State's chemistry issues might have started with Draymond Green, but who knows? I mean, the fact that they keep talking about how immaculate their vibes are within their locker room is just so funny. It's so funny to me. And then you see Jordan Poole not even paying attention during a timeout, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, yeah, okay, fair. The man doesn't even know what the play is. Like, he's like, it's my team. I'll do whatever I want. It's like, all right.
It's it's definitely a bit of a fall from grace for Golden State right now. Steve Kerr is doing his best to hold the strands of this dynasty together, but yeah, it's not looking good for Golden State right now. We'll see if they can do it. We'll see if they come together. If Steph Curry is not on the court, they are. I don't know what is even happening in Golden State. Like they are not winning games.
Nobody else has scored 20 points on their team, bro. Like, in a single game. Like,
Yikes.
oh, no,
Yeah.
I think Kaminga did last night. Sorry, my
That's
bad. I
I
think
will say
Kaminga dropped 21.
the one shot as much as Wiggins has been trash, Kuminga has at least kind of stepped up and showed that he is a good piece because he's not a rookie anymore, right? Is he on what year 3, year 4 at this
Yeah,
point
yeah,
in
he's
time?
Scotty's draft,
Like
bro.
this
Yeah.
is the thing, right? And so at least somebody is trying to help Steph out right now because Clay is a shell of himself and Draymond is definitely going to join the Rock and do something when his NBA career is over.
Yeah, no, he's a podcaster. He'll do that. He'll say he's got so many different things.
So true.
The You know what's been wild to me, man? The Heat have been so good this regular season over the
Yeah.
last little bit. Like they started off so poorly and have just been on fire. I was not expecting that whatsoever.
And you know what it is, right? It's two things. Two things that I'll speak to. Oh, it's actually three things. The third being, insert new guys whose name I don't know yet, but I'll understand by the playoffs come around. But it's two things. It's two things that matter. It's Bam Adebayo actually taking the step and being
Mhm.
legit. I've talked about it for
Offensively.
I've talked about it for years in this podcast, right? Is his jumper legit? Can it be tested when he starts to get double teamed, whatever it takes? And he stepped up big. The second team, Duncan Robinson has proven that he's worth the money. The guy who couldn't even play in certain games last year has showed up and been very good for this team. And so yeah, the Heat, man, I love what Heat culture can do. Like it's wild.
Bro, heat culture. Like, why can't we get some of that in the Raptors? Like, get these guys who are like no-name players to play so well. I have no idea. It's very, very impressive. Um, the Pistons, like, those poor Pistons, like
10
Jaden
losses.
Ivey, like should they break them up with Cade Cunningham? Like, remember a couple of years ago when they had that amazing draft and we thought like, dang, they won.
I mean,
Did they win?
I don't know if
Was
it is just
Keegan
like
Murray really the pick?
like this is like I don't know if it's tank masterclass. Obviously, Cade is not 100% healthy still. I don't know, man. Detroit just has so many young kids. They don't really know how to play basketball apparently, and that leads to a 10
Is
game losing streak.
and is Cade ever gonna be like, that guy who's actually healthy?
Yeah,
He's one of those players. He's like a Zion. He's like an OG. Like these guys just miss games. Like they just do.
you can't
No?
go wrong. You can't go wrong there, right? And looking down the table as well, the Spurs 7 losses in a row. Not a big deal. We were expecting them to lose. Wembanyama has been good. I'm pretty sure Devin Vassell is injured right now, so that I think has
Yeah,
been
yeah.
part of it.
And he's probably one of their better players. But
He
Wemby's
is.
been very mediocre lately. Like since dropping that 38-point game, and looking okay against us, like he's been, pretty average. He hasn't necessarily dominated the way that, he had to start
Yeah.
the season, especially on the defensive end. So we'll see though. He's young, and I'm sure this is the most basketball he's ever played in his life, like
Right.
on a
He's
consistent basis, back to back. And he's playing grown men. I know he played grown men in
yeah.
EuroLeague, but these are like, the I think NBA players are probably like the most physical freaks of all sports.
That's
I know
reasonable.
NFL players are physical freaks, but like, bro, like you have a minimum of 6'3" and 40-inch vertical to get into this league.
Mhm.
Like that is like base minimum to get into the league,
We're seeing him
right? These guys are
settle.
athletes.
We're seeing him settle into things, and the amount of games, the losing, all of it is piling up, and whether it's starting to affect his mental, whether his physicality is just starting to get hit, which we see with a lot of rookies in time. Like, this is why I'm over here looking at Chet Holmgren as the potential rookie of the year, little by little. Like,
He's been okay.
OKC's been good when you think about what their record might be. Anyways, not important, but yeah, there's the rookie class has been pretty decent. When you think about the
Yeah.
Thompson Bros and what they're doing, when you think about Brandon Miller showing up, like Scoot Henderson, who right now, like it's been pretty fun to watch over here as a fan.
Yeah, man. No, it's been a good rookie class. So yeah, I've been shockingly impressed with quite a few of them. Somewhat disappointed with Wemby though over the last week. Not gonna lie, but he set that bar
This
with
is the
that
thing.
38-point game
We're,
and
we're,
those ridiculous blocks and taking the ball right from OG like it was nothing.
OG's comments. He's too tall. He's too tall. He's too tall. He's too tall. But like we're allowed to be feeling this way about Wemby because he's supposed to be the next LeBron. He's been put up on this pedestal. So anything less than greatness is disappointing, and I'm sure that's how he feels
Abject
himself.
failure.
Well, this is
Yeah.
the thing, right?
Well, I hope he doesn't feel that way because like at the end of
Of
the day,
course,
man, like so many people struggle in the NBA. Even the great ones struggle at certain points. He's a rookie. He's 19 years old. Like he's a teenager. He'll be fine. In the long scheme of things, like
of
he'll
course.
be fine as long as he stays healthy. He'll be dominant.
Mhm.
He showed those flashes. So, yeah, man. I don't know. Do you want to go anywhere else in the league? Anything else that you want to talk about, or
I mean, I'm looking over some of these injuries that are happening because there's been a decent amount to start the season. Obviously, Marcus Smart just went out. Even more struggles for the Grizzlies. Like I did just trade him in fantasy, so I'm not that sad about it. Bradley Beal, we finally got the big three in Phoenix together for a game, and now Bradley Beal is going to be out, reevaluated in 3 weeks because of his back. We could talk about Ben Simmons, but that's Ben Simmons. I'd rather
Ben
talk about
Simmons?
I'd rather talk about Cam Thomas, who's gonna miss 2 weeks, who has been absolute
Fire.
fire
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the Brooklyn Nets. Like, we saw it in like baby stretches over the past couple of seasons, but
yeah.
people are coming out and being like, does Cam Johnson get his team back? He's the new Cam has taken over this squad, right? That's been fun. We should talk about CJ
Yeah.
McCollum. Guy has a collapsed lung for the second time in the past couple of years. Like it kind of crazy. I'm wishing the best for that
Scary,
guy.
man.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Not just because
scary.
he's on my fantasy team, but also because I don't know if it's the same lung or if it's both lungs have collapsed different times, but that's
That'd be
terrifying to me,
scary.
man. Terrifying. Yeah. You
But yeah,
mentioned.
Rob Williams out.
I was about to say you mentioned we were talking about it at the beginning of the season-ending surgery for Rob Williams. Celtics dodged a bullet. Tough for that guy, man. Rob Williams, such a great player. What could have been for an injury-riddled career type of guy?
Yeah,
Unfortunate.
man. Yeah, because he's right smack dab in the middle of his prime at this point, and he's never really been able to put together a full season. And, one of the better defenders in the NBA when he's actually healthy. So definitely tough to see. Yeah, man, it's kind of been sad to see those injuries, but hey, it's part of the league. It is what it is. Again, house chores, man. House chores.
Yeah.
Not him.
Oh,
So
it's so true. And to kind of wrap up here, looking at these streaks, looking at the top of the league, kind of what we expected across the board. Boston 76ers, Bucks as that real top three, Nuggets, and then Mavs and T-Wolves showing up as the big surprises. We mentioned, I think, the T-Wolves a little bit. Anthony Edwards being legit right now. The joke is that the T-Wolves haven't had a true star since Kevin Garnett left. And Anthony Edwards has decided it's him. Cat just over here, hiding in the wings saying, "What about me?" But they're
no,
legit,
yeah.
man. They're legit. The T Wolves are
No,
showing up
man.
8-3. I love it.
And one of those losses to the Raptors, man. Heck, what the heck?
Yeah,
Man,
I
our
don't.
Raptors.
I don't know what to say. OKC sitting 8-4. I think that we're looking at a team that might have not quite the 8-4 percentage wise over the season, being 50% more, but this team is going to be a 40 plus win, maybe even a 50 plus win team come the end of this season if they can stay healthy. Shea is him,
I think they'll
dude.
hit 50.
Shea
No,
is
yeah.
him.
Canada basketball, man. You hit a good one with that one.
Amen. All right. All right. So, anything else on your mind? Anything else you want to bring up this week? We pretty much covered it all.
No, man. I think that I'll just predict that I'm gonna double down with Luca over Milwaukee. Um, didn't get it last time. Hopefully, getting it this time. What about you?
I mean, let's hope you get it, because if you're responsible for another loss for this Mavs, that's not going to be good when they only have so few. But we
50% on
yeah,
my call.
yeah, exactly. Look, the Raptors got blessed last night. We were the last team to get to play an in-season tournament game. I was looking at it and I was like, man, the Lakers are 3-0 already, and we don't even get to be on the court. Like, kind of crazy. So, Tuesday coming up, we got a bunch of games on the slate. I'm gonna call every single one of them. Now, don't hate me, Matt. I called a lot of the easy ones. Let's be real here. Toronto over Orlando. There's no other way I would call this one. Cleveland over Philly. I like the Cavs more than I like Philly. Indiana over Atlanta. You can't not root for the Pacers right now. Come on. Phoenix over Portland. I'm sorry if you take the other way. Like, you're just assuming that DeAndre Ayton is going to drop 50 on his old team. And last but not least, the Lakers on Utah. Kessler is still injured, so until he's back, I don't believe the Utah Jazz will win a game, but that's just my opinion. So there we go, Matt. What is it, 5 games right there that I called next Tuesday? It's going to be a banger.
I'd flip Philly over Cleveland, but yeah, I think that you nailed it pretty close, man. I agree. I don't like the flop and beat, so
I voted with my heart, right? This is the
fair
thing.
enough.
I gotta go with my heart. Can't go with the
Familia.
true statistic. This is why we're not always right, but we feel good at the end of the day.
We do this for the family, okay, man?
The new vibes, the saying of the Toronto Raptors. It's Dominic Toretto time. Drake showed up at the game last night. Was kind of hilarious on the call. Was making jokes. The Peyton Pritchard crypto. Oh man, had me going.
Yeah.
But anything else, my friend? Anything else you want to say this week?
Nah, man. I think you're good to wrap us up.
Perfect. Well, thanks everybody for being here. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at The Board Sports. Like, subscribe, give us that thumbs up, and check out theboardsports.net for new episodes and blog posts.
And we'll talk to you next time.